Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Natari Pamilusakun.
And I am Carolyn Process. It will be your guide along this event.
How are you doing, Falik?
I'm having a very difficult time during my thesis. Along with, I have to decide what to do after graduations. Rather, I'm going to continue with my master degree or I hate with in architecture field.
Is it still an architecture degree that you are interested to do in a master degree?
Yeah, something like that. Something about architectures, and I'm also looking for a scholarship as well.
Oh, just right. Our guest today will be talking about after graduation together with a scholarship for master degree.
What is the scholarship?
I heard it's about the Fulbright scholarship. She's our senior.
Oh, that interesting. I also interested in that scholarship as well. Can you please invite her to talk about this? I have a lot of questions to ask.
Okay, so it's time. I would like to invite Miss Suttahathai Niyomwas or Pijan.
Hi.
So today she will be talking about life after graduation along with Fulbright scholarship. So good afternoon, Pijan. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me also. I'm doing great right now. A little bit tired from other events, but yeah, it's an honor to be here with you guys.
I heard that you got a Fulbright scholarship, and I have a lot of questions to ask since I also interested in finding a scholarship as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. What? Well, you can ask me everything actually.
So shall we start from your life and experience after you graduate and how like how your life been going after you graduate from the uni?
Well, actually, after graduated, I didn't start working after immediately because I take a lot of time to. My hometown is at Hat City, so it's not located in Bangkok. So I use a lot of time to go back home and then take time for myself, just take some rest actually, and then prepare the exhibition for the thesis exhibition as well. So actually, I started work like in the end of the year, quite like on the November. So I have a large gap of like just traveling and then exploring stuff, doing other stuff as well. And after graduated, the first job that I worked as an architect at the Somrun Architects, which is one of the well-known architecture firm here in Bangkok, Thailand as well. But now I'm preparing for my master degree, so I didn't work there anymore. But yeah, that is most of me.
Since I also nearly almost graduating as well, do you have any I I got pressures from
Yeah.
myself to find works. So do you have any suggestions or anything for finding works or um
Yeah.
the between ways of getting the work?
Well, I actually understand the pressure because a lot of people will tell you that the first job you're going to do is kind of like will set the mood or the boundaries of work that you're going to have next, right? But I don't think that is kind of a thing here in this century anymore because we're living in the world that we have very like a very diverse interest of people, and then as an architect you can work in many different ways of designing buildings, urban developments, or even like event design, or like there's a lot of things you can explore and find yourself with. I think the key is to kind of like understand what you actually needed. So if you need to find the answer, you need to kind of like explore. If exploring is your answer, you need to do that. Like you don't need to pressure yourself much. But if you know what you wanted, so you wanted to go direct to that thing that is good for you, and then you should pursue that as well. So I think for a freshly graduated person, especially from SOAD, we can do like a very diverse major, and then a very interesting job will be waiting for you. So I don't want you to kind of like pressure yourself that much, because in the other hand, when you pressure yourself too much, the things that will come out of you will not be like a positive one. It will be a negative vibe that you give to the person who you are talking with as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I totally agree with what you have said. So like I have heard that you enjoy a lot of competition, right? So can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about the award that you received?
Okay, so actually, the first one that I been recognized was the my thesis, actually, because we're in the international program, so applying to thesis award, international thesis award is quite easy. So I got I'm the winner of the best worldwide architecture thesis award from the uni website. So yeah, so that is one of like an open door for me, that I actually been recognized and then been invited to event, and then got a chance to exchange with like amazing people in this field. And also after that, after starting working at Somrun, alongside with that, I also kind of like doing a lot of competition with my friends also, because we have kind of a strong interest in research-based design, which is we wanted to fulfill that whole, that we wanted to kind of like, as I told you, that I still wanted to explore something that, well, at that point I didn't find it yet. So we also compete in the professional architects level kind of competition, which is the Genkokyushitkin City, which held by the organized by the Association of Siamese Architects, ASA. So we're the winner of that, and that is kind of like a starting point of our competition life, because we compete in many more competition afterward, which I will talk about later. I think this is like the two major competition that won and then kind of changed my life in a way.
And I also heard that you exhibit in the design week and
Oh
also
yeah.
like the youth as well. Can you like tell us something about that?
So after that two competitions, I'm also joined the MQDC with the with which we do kind of like what do you call it? The civic center in Bangkok. So it's for young professional architects. And then we kind of like have this kind of research that we make about the Thai skill. And then when we have this kind of research in hand, we wanted to kind of like work on toward it. So this year we kind of like submit that research into the Bangkok Design Week, and then made it as an installation work, and join the Bangkok Design Week at the at this year it's TCDC Kung part. And also about the youth part, I'm very like because I wanted to kind of like I have strong passion to kind of help my hometown, Hatyai City. And then this project called the Rethink Urban Spaces, which is the EU funded project, is open up like an open call for youth in 5 different cities. So Hatyai, Bangkok, Khon Kaen, Chiang Mai, Kanchanaburi. So we're all like youth from like 18 to 25 years old that join this kind of like project to work on our hometown, like on different topics. So mine is the community. So with my role as an architect, I have to work with political science students, sociology students, and many more. So it's kind of like an open door to meet like other designers or digital marketing or management students. So with this kind of diverse group of people, I actually learn a lot. And then we work on like trying to promote youth participation in urban development. So so that part actually brings me to work on much more projects. And then I think it's a quite important part for my Fulbright scholarship as well. And then I also got a chance to visit the EU Youth Capital, which is in the Europe part. So we went to Berlin, we went to Lithuania, we went to Cluj-Napoca, which is in Romania. So we went to like many different places to kind of like study and look into the city context. So as an architect, is like a privilege for me to kind of like go there and talk to the people there, see all of this passion of youth that working on their own like urban development issues or other like issues in the world. Actually, like yeah, it's quite a fun time. I've been working with this group for like a year or so. Yeah.
That sounds so fun. And
Yeah, so like since you already mentioned about Fulbright scholarship, can you tell us more about how did you prepare yourself to like apply for the scholarship and like how to get it?
Well, actually, Fulbright. Well, a little bit about Fulbright. So, Fulbright Thailand is a program that I think it called the binational program. So, it's like an academic exchange between Thai and the United States students. So you need to pursue your study in the United States. So the scholarship that I received is the TGS program, which is the Thai Graduate Scholarship. I applied for the Master in Architecture and Urban Design. And so it's kind of like an open competition scholarship program that aims to like provide opportunity for qualified Thai student that wanted to pursue the graduate degree in the United States. So yeah, so the way that I prepared is like, well, you need to know what Fulbright is looking for or any other scholarship is looking for in a way and find the one that actually fits you. So for Fulbright, it's kind of like they wanted to create like a mutual understanding. And so you also like, in one hand, you need to be like a cultural ambassador in a way. So you need to be open-minded, very passionate about the things that you wanted to do. And then the other thing that is quite important for Fulbright, I think, is you need to connect the dot between like the past work that you have done, the project that you have done, what you are doing now, and what do you want to do in the future when you actually go to the US and when you come back here at your hometown in Thailand. What do you want to help, or why does why Fulbright? Why do they need to choose you? That is kind of like a strong point that you need to be prepared, because if you cannot answer those things, I don't think you're ready to kind of like pursue your master degree as well. Because as a student, a master degree is like very in depth into like what kind of topic you wanted to study more, right? So if you can answer those things, I think Fulbright is not that far away for you.
so, since you mentioned like the work that you have been doing, and how about your portfolios? Can you show us some of your works that like
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah, sure. I actually prepared something, so it's kind of like a guideway through my journey. So it can also answer the last question of like, how did I prepare for Fulbright? Actually, because to be honest, I didn't actually prepare to be a Fulbrighter at the starting point of studying in SOAD. But then after graduated, I have joined this kind of like event that, yeah, kind of like this one. I have listened to one of the Fulbrighters that talks about like studying architecture in the US and stuff and how to prepare. So I think this kind of stuff can actually help you to understand more. So I'm gonna tell a little bit about my background again. So my name is Suttahathai Niyomwas. So yeah, I graduated from School of Architecture and Design, and now I've been working as an architect, but also I consider myself as a designer, a campaigner, and also a researcher, which the first thing that I wanted to tell you about is my thesis project, which won the Worldwide Best Bachelor Thesis Project, as I mentioned before, right? So actually, this project I started is called the Hat Yai Multicultural Bonding. I started with the question of like, what is the identity of Hat Yai City and how architecture can take place in this kind of very multicultural situation in Hat Yai City. So because my hometown is a very unique place and special place for me, that is why I wanted to choose to work in Hat Yai City. But then a lot of people told me that Hat Yai doesn't have anything, and why do you want to start there? And then I think that is the point. Because everybody that we're very proud of being a Hatyaian people, but then we also think to ourselves like we don't actually have anything to tell. We don't have any stories. So does it really actually the thing? So that is kind of like my thesis topic, is that how architecture can actually help in that kind of context, or can change the urban fabric in a way. So this is like my final thesis panel board. I'm with Ajahn Sunari, Ajahn Pui that year. So I graduated on the 2018, I think. Yeah. And then, so after being recognized at got the award, so I've been going to many interviews, or like showing up on different social medias and stuff, and also the news, which is very honored for me. And then that is why I wanted to, when I have a chance, I always wanted to tell this kind of stories, or the background of my thesis, to all of you, because I also believe like we need to be who we needed when we were younger. So I wanted to help with that thing. So this is just gonna be like a little brief on my thesis, but if you wanted to listen to the full one, I think you can easily find it online, also in this channel, I think. Yeah, so as I mentioned, so I started with the question like, we all know Hadia as the capital city of Southern, but does it really exist as the same way? And then I've been trying to research about the activities that can link and bring people back into the city in a way, and then to link and make a mutual understanding between a very diverse culture as a multicultural space area in Hatyai City. So I link it with the one of the famous local food of Hatyai City, and also the cultural exchange, which is based on the history of Hatyai City. So this is the outcome of my thesis. And yeah, you can see through this section that it kind of like they can see through, and then the natural lighting and ventilation is kind of a thing, because I need to consider a lot of stuff like the secure zone for people who live there, because we have like a trauma from the bombing situation as well. So this is kind of the design factor that we need to consider in our project. And as a thesis project, it's kind of like one of the only time that you can actually do anything that you wanted. You can taste and you can experiment with not that much concern on budgeting, right? So I think this is the time that is very important to represent who you are in a way, and to represent like what do you wanted to tell the society about. So this is the model, and that is like my thesis, right? And so as you guys asked me before, it's like why competition? So well, actually after graduated, I've been working as an architect, and it's a very fun time of me to actually work on, like, as Somdo Architects is we are known as a very well-known architecture firm that works on like residential buildings or like hotels, and it's kind of like a very large scale building, right? And but then I still have like a feeling inside of me that I still wanted to work, if I have a chance to work for my hometown or for the urban development, or and I keep asking myself like, what can we do actually as an architect to improve our city? So that is when the competition come along, because I wanted to fulfill that kind of passion that I have in me. So I have competed in many competitions and joined many talks as a speakers, invited and exchanged with extremely very amazing people in the field of architecture or in other field as well. And I have been working as a youth representative of Hatyai City to do the EU funded project, the Rethink Urban Spaces, which is an honor, like a 2 or 3 full years that is very fun for me. And then I learn a lot as a person as well. So the first one that changed a lot of my mindset of doing the competition is the Gankoi Creative Green City competition, which I told you a little bit about before. So this is the design and the plate that we actually sent to the Siamese associate. So we call it the Gankoi Manifesto. So we work a lot on the word memories, which as Erwin Panofsky, an art historian, once told that the world of tomorrow is made of out of like fragments from the past, right? So this kind of collective memory thingy, we wanted to kind of like embrace that thing of Gankoi, and then we do it So okay, so actually, and then we need to also consider about the future change and stuff in order to design some kind of urban development or architecture that plug in into the urban city, right? So we see architecture as a medium that link between the fragment of history, the memories, and also speak like about the city itself. So this is like the analysis and everything, the process have been done, and then you can see like actually this is still the Gangkok city, but then the architecture and the installation or all of the design that actually take place into the fabric of the city didn't actually change the identity of the city, but it's kind of like improve and grow together with the city, which is one of the things that we do together in the with my friend, which is the domestic city units. Yeah, so it's kind of like manifesto in a way. So after that, we also compete in the Bangkok Civic Center architectural competitions, which we call the project the Bangkok Forum. So it looks very Thai, right? Because the concept is well, the topic actually is uniquely Thai, and then so we ask ourselves is like, what truly is Thai public spaces and how can we actually understand those things? So yeah, starting from like understanding Sanam Luang and the public spaces in the past and everything, and the word Satharana itself, which just means public. So yeah, so we wanted to show the beauty of chaos, the beauty of Thai, the beauty of being Thai. And then for that reason, it leads us to kind of like do research on like the Thai activities, which reflect directly to the space and the dimension that we need. And this is like the anatomy of Thai activities that we have done our research about. So from that kind of research, we decided to a program and then basically to an architecture. So you can see like this kind of project of like implementing and doing this kind of project is quite like in school, right? But then as an architect, sometimes when you work in the firm, you cannot, because the time limit, you cannot do this kind of process. So competition is another way to kind of like use this, and then you will not forget what you actually love about architecture or what your passion is about. So this is one of the reasons that I kind of joined competition in a way. So the design is separated into the ground part, the wall part, and the roof part. And then you can see like the environment of the Thainess actually still here with the modern way of representing the Thai activities. And also like in the gable part, we also have exhibition art and kind of like more activities that answer to the younger generation of people. So this is the overall of our work. And then the Bangkok Forum has become like a true civic space. And then so we actually works a lot about the voids and then the Thai activities, right? So lead us to the Bangkok Design Week this year that we have been joining. So it's called the Forgotten Dimension. We think the idea of standardization. So we started to ask ourselves is that when we started doing the research about the spaces, would it be nice if we have like the data for us to work like so when we have this research in time, what can we do about it? So it's not only about human skill, but it's also one of the things that make a better city. And as a designer, this is the thing that we can do. So this is the exhibition design and all, and also all the research that we have done. And then this is the real exhibition that we have been exhibit in the Bangkok Design Week 2023. So yeah, and that is part of the domestic city units. And next is the Hat Yai Connects, which I have mentioned before that I have joined the Rethink Urban Spaces project. So Hat Yai Connects is kind of like one of the projects from Rethink Urban Spaces. This one actually is a collaborate work with the Sipatum University. We got funded from Shaw, which is Samasha Sukapab, and also we work with the park. And yeah, so it's kind of like a big project to understand Hat Yai public spaces. And then at first you might think like, oh, well, I'm an architect, I don't have to kind of participate in this kind of work. But then, yeah, that is right. But in the other hand, you can also participate as an architect in this kind of work. So that is why I bring this up, to make you see that there's many options for you after graduated, beside being like an architect that design like a very tall building, high building, large building. You can also do this kind of work as an architect and still call yourself an architect. So this is like we started like after we do this kind of talk and participation process. We also did the participation board inside the city as well, and then we kind of like do the analysis, focus group, and everything. But if I'm gonna tell you that, it's gonna be a very long time. So this is like the space that we kind of like taste or public spaces. We call it the sidewalk secret room because Hajai actually have this event called the Hajai Sidewalk. We kind of like plugged in with this group of young people who wanted to serve design in the more commercial way that actually fits to Hajai context. So yeah, this is the zoning and the analysis that we have done. So we divided the space into activities and all, and then we wanted to find like what activities can actually attract younger generation of people. So yeah, that is when this one also came up. So this is another project which is like an exhibition of youth. We call it the Hajai Define Youth. So it's held by the Retard Hajai group also, but then Hajai Connects take place as a curator of the exhibition. So me as an architect, I need to design the spaces. It is an old house in Hajai City, actually in the city center. It's a very beautiful spaces, and then we have all this group of youth that wanted to work and wanted to show their like young artists. They're like they have mini concert. We have like a group from youth in different university. Also, the retired youth that work on like topic of community public spaces, like green space and like transportation and all. So it's kind of like the way of delivering this new approach to the city, and they show the power of youth actually. So this is one of the exhibition that I'm quite proud of because we have like about like 300 to 500 people who visit us in only 2 days. So yeah, and then it's kind of like the thing that actually leads me throughout my understanding to pursue my master's degree as well. And talking about master degree, so I got the Fulbright TGS award from in Master in Architecture and Urban Planning, right? So a little bit about Fulbright for you guys. So if you wanted to apply this year, it's still open till the end of April, I think. And then, so as a binational program, it was funded by both government from Thai and the US. And then, so the Fulbright program is the grant with no string attached, which means you did not have to come back to work in certain places. But then because of the visa that you will get, it will be the J1 visa. So that means you cannot work in the US and then stay there for about 2 years after graduated. And then, so a lot of people always come and ask me like, what is the personality of a Fulbrighter? So I think, and how should we prepare, right? So like you guys asked me also. So you can see like on the website of Fulbright, actually they wanted to inspiring, caring leader across the culture. So this is quite important word that I think is one of the personality of a Fulbrighter, because actually when I talk to all the Fulbrighters in the same year that give the scholarship as me, so they all have their own kind of like passions, and they can connect the dots of their life very like clearly, and then they can answer the question like why they wanted to apply, and then why do they wanted to pursue the master degree, and then and how they can actually help society in a way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to dedicate yourself to the city or anything, but then it means like you need to create impact in some way. So so actually, so your personal statement, your statement of purpose, transcript, and letter of recommendation, all of this need to kind of like give them a little peek of who you are, and then connect it all as a whole of like who you are and who you wanted to be, and how a Fulbright scholarship and how studying in the US can help with that. So kind of it's going to be kind of like why Fulbright, why this topic, and why the USA. So this 3 question is kind of the things that you need to answer in your applications, and then also you need to answer yourself. This is kind of like a very strong advice. It seems like very easy question, but then it's a very hard part to answer. But then when you can answer this stuff, I think it will be like much more easier to you to do the application. Yeah, so this is like the overall of my portfolio and my work throughout the 3 years or 4 years after graduation. So it's gonna be like, I think thesis is very important. It's starting part of my life. And then after that, a lot of competitions with the domestic city unit is we're still working on a research-based project today. You can follow us online. And also with the Hadia Connects group, which made me understand a lot more that who I wanted to be. So I wanted to be an architect that works on like urban issue as well, and to create architecture from the understanding of community-based projects. And then now we grow as the we open up the City Connects company, which we wanted to work on that kind of stuff as well. So you can see it's kind of like one of the stepping stone of my life that all linked together in one story. So this is also the things that I sent to Fulbright. Yeah.
Thank you, P Jan, very much. The work like is so interesting. All the like the thesis, the competitions, and like the exhibitions is very good and interesting.
Yeah, agree. All of your work looks so great and like, yeah,
Looks fun too, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
This is like the key thing for me, actually.
So like now we are going for a Q&A session now. So like if anyone has any question, so please feel free to like send the question through the chat box. So like while we are waiting for the question from the audience, I would like to ask Pijan more about like which project that you like the most and why you like that project the most.
So I actually like this tree project in the screen here the most. I cannot decide actually because it's taking very important places in my life as an architect, as a person, growing as a person as well. But then I already talked about my thesis and also the Gencoin Manifesto already. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Hadia Happens project, which is quite a lot of people will be confusing, like as an architect, what did you actually do with this kind of project, or what did you gain from this kind of project of working with the community in a way. So this is kind of like an event of like city walks that we divided the route into three routes that link with the gastronomy and then the culture of Hat Yai City. So the first one is we call it the Hat Yai Happen. So the first one is in the morning time. Hat Yai is very famous of their food, right? So we have like very, very like famous restaurants. So for the morning, it's like a city walk in Lamai Songkhor area, which is famous for finding food there for like tourists and also people in the city as well. So you can see like the route is actually called the origin of Hat Yai. So it's kind of tell the story that link between Hat Yai City from the beginning through the culture of Chinese people that come in, and then the diverse group and everything. And then for the epic one, which is the lunchtime, we call it the revisiting Hat Yai history. This one actually located in the city center of Hat Yai City. So it started with the train station, which is the train station is quite close to my thesis, right? So yeah, so you can see like actually it is the story of the history of Hat Yai City, and then we ended up in the second eatery and bar, which is we do like fusion food and very modern food. You can see like in the lower right, they actually do gang som in a new way. So it's very interesting presenting. So and the last one is the dinner time, which we call it the perspective city. So we have a little bit gimmick here that we give all of the people a camera, a film camera, a disposable one, actually to take a picture and then have a conversation about the design and art in the area, because this is kind of like a new area of young people that open their own restaurant and shops. So it's a very creative district in Hat Yai City. So yeah, after that we have a little bit talk. We invited the mayor, the deputy mayors, and all, And it's a very interesting evening actually to kind of like have a chance to talk with the people that the decision maker in the city and talk in like a political way to approach this kind of development of the city to them throughout just like a very easy city walks that we can see through the city, right? But then we still have this kind of film from the disposable camera, right, in hand. So we wanted to kind of do like a place making process. So it's kind of like using design in a way of understanding the city, and then we also use this kind of footprint, which is the film photo. We see it as like this is a thing that you see through your eyes is the photo that you wanted to show. So we just like contact to the community. We talk with the house owner and then do this kind of exhibitions. At first, this was like just an easy one. We wanted to display the neighborhood and then have a conversation with more people to understand the nature of the city in a way. And then surprisingly, the media spin-off is very popular. We reached like 7,000 organic search through the Google map, and then we expanding the target group and everything. So it's kind of like a small impact that actually like a small step that actually create impacts to the city. So the question is like me as an architect, what did I take place into that kind of stuff? You see, like during your study as an architecture student, you need to do a lot of research, right? You need to do a lot of like understanding of the user. You need to do all of analysis. That actually is the key thing that I use in this kind of project. You need to go to the site, you need to explore, you need to talk to people, you need to understand the nature of the city in order to do this kind of stuff. And then to design something that actually create impacts is also a design that needs like a designer to actually help to implement that kind of stuff. So it's kind of another way or another option for you guys to see like the work of an architect that can do in urban development as well. And as a youth or as a younger generation, you can actually create impact with such a very small things. Yeah. So that is what I prepared. Oh, you can also contact me here. I think it's come up too soon, but yeah.
I like how you like try to like be like a baby step from like your hometowns and like do the disposal themes. It's kind of like cool and great idea to do the projects that
Yeah.
integrating with like the architecture's studies from
Yep.
like we learn as well.
Actually, it's because I have a chance to work with, as I mentioned, a very diverse group of people. The Hajai Connects team, the City Connects team, we have people from digital marketing, a designer, engineer, and also management major. So if I didn't work with this group of people, I don't think I can be this creative with this kind of project. So yeah, it's a privilege.
So should we go to the questions from the audience? So the first one is there any conflict during working with communities between the team and locals?
Okay, this is a very nice question, actually. So I think because we represent ourselves as a youth and also as a young generation of people, we did not have that strong conflict with the community, because when we actually approach them, they would be like, "Oh, you're doing something for the city. That is really nice. What are you gonna do? Okay, what can we help?" It's kind of like that way. But then if you approach them with a more commercial way, I think that's gonna be a little bit trickier. So you need to truly understand, and that is when design actually take place and take an important role to understand their nature and all. Yeah, because but you see, like in a bigger picture, bigger event that we have joined, and I have a chance to join as well. We also have like some conflict with like sometimes in order to create like a very large events of selling stuff and all, you need to close down the road, right? So when the road is closed, the people in the community actually have a very hard time of traveling along in the city. So that is when the government needs to come in and then help and service them in a way. And then I think this kind of stuff is this thing that communication is really actually the key to do this kind of work. Yeah.
So it's the From the second question is from group two. What were the main challenges and differences you encounter between working on the school projects and when you started to do
Okay.
more professional competitions?
What is the main challenge and difference working on school projects and profession? Okay, so for me, I don't think it's like that much of a difference actually. But then after you graduate, you see it like a bigger picture because you have been working as an architect already in a design firm, right? So a lot of things that in your mind will be like changed. Like your mindset will be definitely changed. You will concern more about a lot of things. But then the process, well, I don't know about other people, but then in our group, we try to keep it the same because I think one of the key success of being an SOAD student is that we have a very strong point of doing research. And then, but then the way that we kind of like shift from research to design is the hard part, right? So that is when I think when we join more professional competition, that is the concern that you need to do because like actually when it comes to competitions, you don't actually have time to go there and present it yourself. Your presentation board needs to present it for you. So that is kind of like the key and the big difference because when in school, you're actually there to actually explain your work. So sometimes when you have a lot of diagrams, you like have lot of ticks or like something that's still in your mind, but then you don't have much time to do it. You can actually tell the juries and all the adults that what is actually behind those thoughts. But then when it comes to competitions, you cannot do that. So within like 2 plays of A1 sheet, you need to show it all. And then graphic is actually the key, the wow factor that actually made people wanted to pick it up and then read the thing that you actually did. Yeah. Okay.
And another question from group one is, how do you see your architecture career path in the future after finish your master degree in Fulbright?
Okay, so actually, when I write my personal statement for Fulbright, I also need to answer this kind of stuff as well, right? So well, at first because I wanted to also come back and work as an architect in a way, but I still wanted to work on more the things like create impacts or like help the city in a way. So you can see like most of my project is based on like understanding the character of the city, and that is the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to be that architect that actually work on that kind of topics, and then in order to do that, in order to study that more, I need the scholarship for me to go there because it's well, if you go there by your own money, you need to make profit, and then it will be more commercial in a way, right? So yeah, but because and I also have a plan. Well, because I already have a group of people that I work with, which is the city connects and the domestic city units. And if that works, I think when I come back, I wanted still to continue the work with this two group of people, and then and we can see how it goes. But well, City Connect is quite interesting for me because we are a licensed company already, and then we work on participation process, and then how research can actually implement in the real life or in like execute as an exhibition on, and also communicating in through our Facebook page, the Hadia Connects and all. And that is quite a very new approach for today's company or firm, I think, and as a designer, right? So you can actually make money from that kind of thing, and you can also benefit the society in the same time. So that is the things that I'm leading to. I don't know if this answer your question or not. Yeah.
So another question from group two from Adikan. He asked that like, can you give us the tips how to propose the project to the government, public, and locals, how to make the projects buildable in reality, and how to find some sponsors?
So I will. Okay. So first, the government and public is like a different things, right? So when you wanted to approach the government or especially the local governments, you need to use a lot of like, you need to show them first. So because like they don't actually understand, especially when it comes to like new designs or like young people doing this kind of stuff, is kind of very new to them. So the thing is, when you actually go to them, they will listen, but then they will not do anything because they don't actually see the picture. So that is when you need to find some sponsor to actually do that kind of work for you. It mostly come from the private sector, right? So the way that we actually find some sponsor, well, for me, is joining a campaign or the project that actually know that they will give us sponsorship. So like right now, I'm actually joining the Design Action Hero project, which they give us like 50,000 baht to kind of like do this project. And then, but then in the end, you need to build something up, and then that is when the project is buildable, right? So yeah, it's kind of like all linked together. But then when you have your first kickoff project, you have your portfolio, just like the one that I presented to you. It's quite easier in a way, so you can just present yourself and approach to new people, to new clients that, okay, I can do this. So it's kind of like a two-way street. So you need to like wanted to know what you wanted to do to the society to help the city and the local people, right? And then you need to kind of find the perfect match of like what kind of source of money for people that have the same, like they wanted to do CSR, or they wanted to help people, or have the same mindset that they wanted to kind of like join like partnership with you to make this kind of things that you wanted to help people complete. So that is the fun part, I think, is the way that you need to design or go around to make all of this complete as a whole.
And there's another questions that from Hataigan say, may you give us some tips for writing a successful scholarship application essay?
So yeah, sure. This is a thing that a lot of people will be struggling about. I think I'm one of the person that can really explain myself very clearly, right? So that is, I think you can see like the thing that I actually guide you through my life. I always pointed out three main stuff, right? So I think one of the successful way of writing an essay is to kind of like see the accomplishment or the failure, the things that you learn along the journey of as a student or as a first jobber, or like everything in your life. What is like the turning points, and what is the reason that you are here, and what is the reason that you wanted to apply. All of this needs to be linked together, and then it cannot be like, well, one page is not enough, right? So like for Fulbright, you need to send like a personal statement, and then another thing, I think it called the study objective and study and research objective. So it's two different things. So the way like a tips for you is that to actually draft it before writing is like the personal statement needs to tell who you are and what you want it to become, and then the study and research objective can tell more about the academic side of your life. Or like, well, but I think different people have like different approach and different ways of telling their own stories. Like you don't need to do a lot of activities to, or you don't need to be the best person in class to be a Fulbrighter. They always tell like they're more interested in the story of how you become you.
So I think this is the last question from the audience. So it's from Thanapoom. He asked that like, how long do you prepare for scholarships application, and like did you start preparing since you graduated, or like work like for like some time?
Okay, so I actually have this thing in mind that I wanted to go abroad, study abroad after graduated, but then I didn't totally plan it. I just think to myself, okay, I wanted to work as an architect, like a full-time architect for like maybe 2 years, and then I wanted to study somewhere, right? So that is when well, and actually when I go to the architect firm, I also tell them that I was planning to pursue my master degree in a way. And so 2 years after graduated, I started to kind of like do the research on like what kind of like scholarship that they have and stuff. But then along these 2 years, you also need to find yourself, and you need to answer yourself like what, well, just for me, this actually works for me. I don't know if it's work for other, but during the time that you work, you need to find yourself and your passion, and what kind of major you wanted to study in your master degree. So that is the time that you can just take your time and explore everything. It's gonna help you a lot. So for me, I use like 2 years of understanding myself, but actually the time that I prepared for the Fulbright scholarship, well, at first I wanted to like apply since last 2 years, but then I don't think I'm ready because I look into all of my portfolio and stuff, and I also cannot like answer myself like, I know that I wanted to study architecture, but what topic of architecture that I wanted to study, I cannot answer that. So that when the competitions and other projects come along to make me understand more of myself, you did not have to do all of this at the same as me. Maybe you can try something else. You can just like look through a lot of movies, or have a very strange hobby that can actually define who you are. Then for me, when I actually decided that this is the time that I need to pursue my master's degree, this is the time that this like last year that I told myself that I wanted to apply for Fulbright. So I actually do like 2 or 3 months of like preparing all the application, but I actually but this is not a good thing, but I use only a month to do the portfolio and the statement. Yeah, but you need to understand, like doing that 2 years, I actually prepared myself like in the state of mind that I actually truly understand myself, right? And I also prepared the English score in advance. So if you have some time, you can just take some courses and then just take the test, because the test score can stay like 2 years, right? So yeah, find what fits you, IELTS or TOEFL or anything. And then when you have all the kind of like, you have the applications in hand, you have the English score in hand. So what the things that is left out is only the statement, or you need to contact your professor or the people that you wanted them to write your recommendation and stuff. And that doesn't actually take a long time. But then if you don't have this answer in your mind, it will take a long time.
Okay, so like I just want to say like congratulations for your like the congrats, and also like all the awards that you have been like winning in the competition. Yeah, so I
Thank
think
you.
it's time like for our last section. So I would like Pijan to give advice to all the future architects. So like, do you have any suggestion for them like on their future career path?
Well, to be honest to yourself, I think, because a lot of the time, yeah, I don't think the same thing can actually works with everybody. But then you need to be honest to yourself. It's like you need to understand what you truly wanted and who you wanted to be. So maybe you want graduate and be an architect, but then if you have like a happy, successful life, and the word successful also defined by you yourself. So this is like the key of like growing up in a way. And then I think one of the key things that actually can help you is the soft skill as well, to work as a team, and then to understand like you need to go with your team to accomplish this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
always, yeah, you always ask questions, and then ask the people that know more than you. It's not like a strange thing to do. You guys can always ask me stuff, and or also other alumni. I think they will truly wanted to help.
So like, do you have any projects that we can follow up, and any social media that we could go through and follow you?
So, well, as I mentioned before, I work on many projects, right? So, you can follow my Instagram actually, but I think my social media, my LinkedIn, everything is quite. I'm an open book in a way. I don't think if it's good or not, but then you can search my name in Google. You can find my Facebook, my LinkedIn, or even my Instagram there. That is kind of like my personal contact, but well, you can ask me questions and stuff, and then you can follow up my social life, also what builds me or guide me in a way. But if you wanted to follow only the works, you can follow the Facebook of Hatyek Connects, Hatyek CONNEXT, and then also the Instagram of the domestic city units. So actually, you can easily find it online. So I think that we are also linked to the SO80 Instagram in a way. So yeah, it will be easier to find them. Ha.
So thank you very much for today, and we wish you all the best for your journey and have a great time in USA.
Yeah, thank you. You
Uh,
too. ขอบคุณค่ะ
So and that's it for the life experience of our seniors, starting from like after graduation throughout the working experience, competition, and the scholarship. So we hope this will be helpful for your next decision.
and I also got a great information, and it's a great honor to be here to guide you today.
So like thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you.